Pemirsa, Anda menyaksikan Kabar Nusantara episode spesial AIPA. Tepatnya pada hari ini Rabu 22 Juli 2026, AIPA atau yang kita kenal sebagai ASEAN Inter-Parliamentary Assembly sedang mengadakan pertemuan terkait the role of Parliament in strengthening ASEAN's centrality in navigating complex global challenges. Lantas apa saja yang menjadi isu utama yang dibahas pada pertemuan hari ini? Saya sudah bersama dengan His Excellency Dr. Cem Widya selaku Secretary General of AIPA. Hello sir, how are you today?
How are you? Thank you so much.
It's been a long day.
Yes, but fruitful.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
Sir, for the first question, unfortunately, public still don't know about what's the function and what's the definition of AIPA itself. Maybe you can explain to the public what is AIPA and what's the purpose of it?
Yes, thank you so much for the question. First of all, I would like to welcome the public who is interested in the AIPA's work and basically all the work of the House of Representatives of the Republic of Indonesia, the biggest country of ASEAN, and the place where so many basic documents were signed, which govern the whole of ASEAN, you name it, the Treaty on Amity and Cooperation in Southeast Asia, which was signed in 1976, the Bali Concord I, the Bali Concord II, which gave birth to ASEAN Charter, and also to the Committee of Permanent Representatives in Jakarta, the ASEAN Committee, Bali Concord III, so there are many documents. Coming back to your question, you may know, the public may know that ASEAN was established in 1967 in Bangkok. 10 years after, exactly in 1977, AIPA, back then known as AIPO, O for organization, was formed. So ASEAN realized that parliaments are needed to contribute to the building of ASEAN as such. Because as we know, any state institutions, they need two wings to fly.
Yeah.
One is the legislative body and the other one is the executive body.
Yes.
And together they form unity in making the bird fly, the Garuda fly. So what do parliaments stand for when they help ASEAN? They help ASEAN in enacting law, making law, but more importantly also in the oversight duty. Oversight duty means monitoring the implementation of law.
Yeah.
Has they been effectively implemented and so on. Third, also in budgetary questions, which is extremely important because we know that without budget, nothing can function. So parliaments play a key role when they decide, when they adopt the budget. This is the moment when they discuss with the government and all ministries concerned about the priorities for the next budgetary term, the year. So very important. Yes. And the fourth, we may not forget, is the representativeness of parliamentarians, because they are accountable to the people, whereas ministers are accountable to the prime minister or to the president, but as a parliamentarian, as MP, you are directly accountable to the people. So you represent not only people in your constituency, but you represent people in your country, like Indonesia, 280 million, or more ASEAN, nearly 700 million. So you see the balance and the way, the importance of parliaments in complementing what the state is doing in order to make ASEAN work as a whole.
Okay, sir. I'm interested about what you say about executive and legislative making unity and the importance of parliament in each country.
Yes.
But in your perspective, why also parliament needs to make cooperation between countries? Why not just the government to government itself?
You know, countries have become too small in order to be able to prevail on many issues.
Yes.
So parliaments basically, they are the custodian of law, they are the custodian of law, they are the custodian of the rule of law, and also for the legitimacy, because without elections there would be no legitimacy.
Yes.
So it is very important, and therefore they have to translate regional commitments into national legislation. This is point number one. Point number two, how to harmonize national laws on particular issues, like say climate change. So how to harmonize them in making work for all. So this is the bridge between region and nation, but also the bridge between legislative and executive the bridge between legislative, executive, and people.
Yes.
So parliaments play many bridges role, and now more importantly, because of the complexity of international relations, diplomacy is no longer the monopoly of the state, but parliaments have also to help what they call parliamentary diplomacy. So state and parliamentary diplomacy complement each other. That's why we have the 17th AIPA Caucus in Jakarta with the theme of how to strengthen ASEAN centrality amidst global challenges. Very complex. We know that 2026 is unprecedented with a lot of unprecedented and unpredictable conflicts. We do not see any end yet, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
So we are facing, for instance, in some ASEAN member states, energy crisis. So you know that without energy, no economy could work. So it would create a lot of problems for any countries concerned. Yes.
So is it correct if I say AIPA plays a pivotal role
Yes.
for bridging
Yes.
the regulation from executive
Yes.
to a tangible
Yes.
action
Yes.
and benefits,
Yes.
also implementation
Yes.
to the people?
Yes. If I may stress, the number one function of AIPA and of parliaments is how to ensure the rule of law. Because without the rule of law, we go into the rule of the jungle. So parliament stands for right is might and not might is right. Because when people have the rule of law, they have a sense of equity, of justice, which enable harmonization, harmonious relations between the society and the nation. Whereas there would be no rule of law, then it would be chaos because, big would take all. So this is basically rule of law and good governance at national and regional level.
Okay, sir. If we're talking about AIPA, this event held by AIPA Caucus.
Yes.
What is the difference between them, AIPA and AIPA Caucus?
AIPA Caucus is a body of AIPA. The highest body of AIPA is the General Assembly.
Yeah.
Like for ASEAN, it's the summit, ASEAN Summit. So the body that would enable the review of decisions would be, for the summit would be the ministerial level of meetings. For AIPA, it is the caucus. The caucus reviews the implementation of AIPA resolutions.
Oh, okay.
As AIPA resolutions are made by the speakers, so we have to review the implementation. Yes.
Okay, sir.
Yes.
And then if we talk about today's agenda about strengthening ASEAN centrality,
Yes.
what do you think the biggest challenge to implement the centrality of ASEAN today?
Today, the challenge is that ASEAN is a collection of member states.
Yeah.
We are not a big nation like China, like the USA, or like Russia. We are a collection of 10 member states.
Yeah.
Number two, we are not supranational like the EU. We are still ASEAN, which means association of Southeast Asian nations. So it is an association
Yeah.
of sovereign states. Yes. So we cannot decide by majority, we decide by consensus. So this is a big difference. And that's why I think that it is very important for us to coordinate, to collaborate, and to also cooperate how to make dialogue prevail over confrontation, because ASEAN is not free of conflict. We also have internal conflicts, yes, and how to ensure that we remain in the driver's seat in our own region. And this is very important because other regions are facing tremendous challenges. You name it. In Europe, you have Ukraine. In America, there are a lot of problems I don't want to mention.
Amongst the states even.
Yes. So I don't want to mention because it's too sensitive, I would say.
Okay.
And then you have the Gaza, which is also a lot of sufferings.
Yes.
And other parts. So therefore, we would not like that ASEAN would face suddenly similar, unannounced security challenges or security threats that would then, I would not say destroy, but that would really make us a lot of troubles and problems. Yes.
So, sir, like what you say, internal conflict and then geopolitical conflict that keep rising.
Yes.
Is it still true that ASEAN is still the agenda setter for its region, or it's more now agenda taker?
I am very proud of ASEAN. ASEAN is really a success story.
Okay.
Because we have succeeded, in, if I may say, in diplomacy, in confidence building, because we do not only engage within ASEAN, we also engage dialogue partners of ASEAN, which mean external players.
Including with AIPA, sir?
No. AIPA has 28, 26 observer parliaments, whereas ASEAN has the dialogue partners, which are all very important countries. The most important countries are all dialogue partners. And then you have the ASEAN Regional Forum with more than 20 member states or participants. You have the East Asia Summit, engaging presidents and prime ministers. So the president of the US always attend, basically. So ASEAN is a success story. And therefore, I think that ASEAN still is able to constructively engage all the major powers. And all of them respect ASEAN centrality, ASEAN in the driver's seat, in our own political and security architecture.
Okay.
Yes.
But many people say, from the public state, that now ASEAN centrality is pressured by global geopolitics. How can AIPA specifically maintain its centrality without trapped in the blocks, sir?
You cannot escape the global landscape because we live in one planet. And we are only one part of the planet. We are Southeast Asia, but we are living in the planet. So therefore, we are not exempt from problems elsewhere. They would affect us. And that is precisely because they affect us that we have to make more efforts in order to ensure peace, stability, security, and prosperity. So whereas the UN now is weakened, whereas there is erosion of the international rule system, the law system, international system has been weakened. Therefore, the more ASEAN and AIPA together as ASEAN, we have to reach out to all the regional organizations and institutions in order to find consensus and to make the world a safe place. One very important success of ASEAN is the Treaty on Amity and Cooperation in Southeast Asia. Originally, 5 ASEAN member states signed in Bangkok, 67, enlarged to Brunei, to Papua New Guinea, and then to the newer ASEAN member states. But now, beyond that, since 2003, we have enlarged to all the high contracting parties, including all nuclear powers. So now we have 59 high contracting parties, and I was told that I think by the next few days, we would then accept 6 more high contracting parties, bringing it to 65. So therefore, I think that the TAC is a very important treaty that would enable us to, to try and secure peaceful settlement of disputes. Yes.
If I may ask, sir, what is the concrete indicators or like measurement that AIPA usually use to measure how success the regulations or ASEAN centrality itself, sir? Is it the joint parties, like you mentioned before?
In terms of AIPA parliaments, we receive the mandate from the General Assembly on particular tasks, and then we measure according to the implementation rate by the AIPA member states. Yes, so to tell you in a succinct manner.
Okay.
Yes.
So about these days, sir, is it still happening, Cambodia and Indonesia collaboration, especially in AIPA itself? Do we have like special or specific talks about Cambodia and Indonesia collaboration for the next years, probably?
I think we work together on many issues, like on the responsible agriculture, food and forestry, on women, political leadership, which is extremely important, on youth, on many issues. And this year, I think the focus is on political security issues. That's the theme also of the AIPA Caucus. So we focus very much on the Treaty on Amity and Cooperation in Southeast Asia, because we celebrate the 50 years anniversary, and we would like to see the TAC function well and being more effective in the implementation. So I think that we work together, Cambodia, Indonesia, but from what I heard here, also Malaysia, Brunei, even Thailand is on board. So I think that even if many parliaments or have similar views, the older parliament would go along. Yes.
Baik, berarti pemirsa dapat kita simpulkan bahwa AIPA ini sendiri merupakan jembatan dari berbagai kebijakan untuk dapat menghasilkan tangible benefits and tangible regulations yang pastinya akan mempengaruhi kehidupan kita sehari-hari sebagai warga negara di ASEAN. Tadi juga dari Dr. Cem menyampaikan bahwa Indonesia dengan Kamboja hingga saat ini masih terus menjalin kolaborasi, terutama di daerah food and treasury, and then trading, dan many things else. Thank you to
Thank you so
joining
much.
our program today, sir, to
Thank
sharing
you.
about
Yes.
AIPA and what's the progress about AIPA today. Thank you so much.
It is my honor. Yeah.
It is my honor too, sir. It is our honor too, sir.
Thank you so much.
Buat teman-teman yang mungkin masih memiliki berbagai pertanyaan ataupun berbagai aspirasi yang ingin disampaikan kepada parlemen, boleh tinggalkan komentar di kolom komentar di bawah. Nanti kita akan jawab di episode selanjutnya. Terima kasih sudah menyaksikan Kabar Nusantara episode spesial AIPA hari ini. Bersama saya Rahel Silalahi, salam Nusantara.